One specific strategy that can be part of an integrated flood management approach is watershed management. First of all, a watershed is the surrounding land from which water drains into a stream or lake, or the area from which a stream or river begins.
Watershed management is actually an umbrella term that covers the planning and management of all activities undertaken in the watershed, including the floodplain.
Watershed management, then, is the process of setting up and implementing plans that efficiently use the resources found in the watershed.
We talk about land use, we talk about soil, we talk about the environment, we talk about all the natural resources and everything that is in the watershed, the ecosystem, the whole ecosystem, everything that, so plants, animals, soils, land.
By ensuring that these resources are used in a manner that does not negatively affect the soil or water base, watershed management can help Caribbean countries better deal with the impact of flooding. Watershed management makes use of structural or engineering practices as well as non-structural practices.
The non-structural measures would include measures such as the use of land use zoning plans. Land use zoning plans identify areas that are most suited for settlement. So we use what is called, for example, a flood hazard map, which will identify key locations where settlement would be best suited and hazard-prone areas that may be unsuited for development. Reforestation would be a classic example of where we would try to replace vegetation and in particular forested areas that would have been stripped of their vegetation. So replanting would be a very good approach to mitigating the flood. We also use what is called the building code. The building code is designed to tell you what type of building you can design to minimize the risk of flooding. In the building code, we can also indicate what type of building materials can be used to protect the building from the risk of flooding.
By adopting and enforcing building codes, Caribbean governments can help ensure that buildings such as houses, schools, hospitals and shopping malls, as well as roads and bridges, are properly constructed to withstand flooding. Other measures such as early warning and providing communities with information on flooding should also be used. Many of the strategies discussed so far are relatively low cost and do not require high levels of technology. However, these alone may not be enough to reduce the impact of flooding. That's why the engineering and building of certain structures is also needed.
The structural measures we are talking about, and I think many people know about them, are the walling and paving of drains, the dredging, any river works really, the bridges and culverts expansion to ensure that they are as large as the drains and rivers that they are within, detention basins or retention basins, pumps.
Regular cleaning and maintenance of existing structures such as drains and water channels also go a long way towards reducing the impact of floods. Taking steps to guard against the ravages of flooding is not just the responsibility of government. There is a lot that the general public can do.
We need to become sensitized to the importance of the forest, the importance of vegetation, the importance of providing control for sediments. When we construct our houses, for example, we have to start looking at ways of ensuring during the wet season that we do not have runoff of sediments from our construction sites.
For centuries, people have tried to reduce the damage and casualties caused by flooding. The impact may even increase in the future because of climate change and population growth. To help minimize the havoc wreaked by floods, Caribbean countries need to carefully review their current flood risk management strategies.